What's your name again?
Jansen Frabda.
And you're a professional BMX rider?
Yes.
Nice. I was lucky to catch this guy on his lunch break in one of the many skate parks in the area, and even luckier that he was nice enough to try this electric BMX bike from SWFT. So since he is a professional in the BMX space and I am not, I felt like it would be more meaningful to have him review the bike rather than me. So after he rode it for a while, I asked him what he thought of the bike. And I did mention the price because I knew that he had experience with much more expensive bikes, and I wanted his opinion on something more affordable. What's your take on it?
$1,000.
$1,000. After thinking about it for a minute, I decided to break the ice and ask some questions that I had. So is there enough power to do stuff?
Actually, yes. Because even when I manualed across this, I kind of like gave a little juice, and I'm pretty good at throttle because I ride Surons and stuff too.
Yeah.
So I know what those feel like. And I was able to wheel it across pretty easy, and being a little bit lighter, it does kind of help that motion.
First thing he mentioned was the 20 by 2.35 inch performance tires.
They're all right. They're not too bad of tires. They could be a little bit better tire, but you know what? Maybe just a little bit of air. I probably would have made a little difference of as far as how it performed, but it actually did pretty good for the most part.
The biggest complaint he had was related to tire pressure rather than tire quality. I tend to ride at a lower PSI, and apparently you don't want to do that with BMX bikes.
The peg's a little bit scary, having the pegs in the back as far as right next to the disc brake, because if you were to grind, there's a good chance you could possibly
hit the brake, hit the disc there.
So when I looked down at it, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. So, and these ones are probably just pull-offs too.
Yeah, just screw them on, screw them off.
Yeah, probably like half a pound each maybe.
Is that heavy or light for BMX?
Pretty heavy for BMX. Mine are pretty light. Mine are made out of plastic. These ones are more what I'd call homie haulers.
No pegs in the rear is an easy fix, just takes a few seconds to screw them off, but they are beefy, so like he said, if you have friends that need a lift, you got them covered, up to a carrying capacity of 265 pounds. Do you use a lot of pedaling when you're like in a park like this, or is it mostly just throttle?
And then if I need to, I'll use throttle just in random areas because it does kind of help. But
did the power come on, like, was it too delay? Was it too, too much?
It does have a little delay, but it's not bad. It almost seems kind of like a safety thing for like people that are not used to having, because electric has a lot of crazy torque sometimes.
Yeah.
So being that, it is maybe a little bit safer for some people, because
they pedal a little bit more and
expecting it to just go really out from underneath them. It does kind of have like a little bit more of a give and go into it, so it's more chillax.
So he liked the motor sensitivity. The power came on nice and easy, nice and gentle. One thing with this bike is if you're using the throttle, you do have to move. It doesn't go from a standstill.
A little heavy, but not too bad. I mean, as far as pulling it up, bunny hop and stuff, like you expect it to be that because it is electric, battery. So I mean, you got to think about all that weight.
Now for him, 39 pounds is a heavy bike. For me, that is one of the lightest bikes I've ever tried. What about the balance?
Integrated in the frame. Oh, balance is perfect. Balance, I mean, the thing feels pretty center of gravity. Like you're in the right spots, like even pulling back for wheelies and stuff, like it just felt almost like a BMX would.
Oh, awesome. Well, that's a big pass for balance.
Frame feels strong. Maybe the forks might be a little weaker. You can tell just by like the length of space room between here to here. Doing what I'm doing, maybe not the greatest for it, but
for entry-level BMX electric bike, it's
all day.
Pretty good.
Any kid could be able to ride on that, but
off camera, he told me that he would replace the forks if this was his bike because he gets feet of air when he rides, when he takes those jumps, and so he just puts a lot of strain on the forks. But for a rider that's not going to do that, you should be just fine.
They're pretty solid stem on there. That's nice. The bars, they're pretty solid, pretty well crafted like a BMX. I like the chain guide that kind of keeps it in the center.
In the track.
It's kind of nice.
You need that when you're doing jumps and doing a lot of like heavy riding and that, so.
Cool. So they even have these tensioners to keep your chain tight. That's kind of nice. I do like that.
The last thing he wanted to know is if you could ride it in reverse like true BMX style bikes.
Does it go backwards?
I haven't tried that.
Let's find out.
All right.
Oh, just like a BMX. Okay.
Nice, sweet. Nice.
A little heavier, but it works.
Yeah. The biggest difference between an e-BMX bike and a regular BMX bike is that you can't rotate the handlebars 360. The throttle wire does stop you from fully turning them around. But other than that, Jansen thought it was a pretty solid bike. And since he helped me out, I decided to help him out. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for doing that, man. And you know what? As payment, man, you want the bike?
I can't take
Oh, seriously, do you want
I
it?
can't take this.
Come on.
No.
Yeah.
That's just
serious.
that's
No.
so much.
Give me your address, and I'll mail you the charger,
You're
and we'll
lying.
call it good. All right?
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
You're lying.
I appreciate it,
Get out of
dude.
here, I appreciate it.
For real. So
That's
let me walk it up
sick.
to the car. I got to take this off because that's my
Yeah, that's
thing. But yeah, let's go put it in your truck,
Wow,
man.
That is amazing. I
Yeah.
can't believe that just happened.
No, dude.
Really?
I appreciate you helping a stranger out, man. I just come up to you and like, hey, dude, want to ride my bike?
Yeah,
and you're like,
right.
yeah, let's do it. So a few other stats and specs about the bike. It does have a 350 watt brushless motor and a 36 volt 7.5 lithium battery that takes 5 hours to recharge. It can fit a rider 5'3" or higher, can hit a top speed of 20 miles per hour, and has a 35-mile range. So there's the first BMX bike that I've ever reviewed, or I should say watched somebody review. I did ride it a little bit in that same park, but again, I just don't have a lot of experience, so that's why I grabbed Jensen to do all the heavy lifting for me. So hopefully you enjoyed the review. I appreciate you guys hopping on here and checking out my content, and have a good day.